Okay, so hello, uranium friends, checking in on the space because we just had a nice little pullback. Let's see what's going on. ETFs, URA, URNM, URNJ. So, great move. This was all very good move, and it took out these highs, which is pretty cool, right? So maybe there's another leg up in the works. So we all know at this point, if you watch me enough, you know what we need, right? We need a daily high or low. So let's just take a look at URA, and the other ones are going to be the same conceptually. So we'll breeze through this. So pivot right here, right? So this is going to be the high low, the higher low that we're working off of, right? So this is all one move. Most technical analysts will consider this all one move. So it makes sense that there's a need for another pivot to be created, and we really just want it to be higher than 2877. What is it? 2873. That's the deal, right? So because this was all one big move, it makes sense that we need to get a pivot. It also, the probabilities favor a daily high or low. As opposed to this 2873. So that's what I'm looking for. This is my fib run, so it would make it would be great. And I think I posted it today, 29.30, 29 to $30. It's got a hold on URA for us to know that there's the chances of the higher low um, they increase. So if we lose this golden pocket here, which lines up with all this action, which lines up with all this action, which lines up with this volume profile, and you'll see as I zoom in, the volume profile is going to change according to the data that it's reading, right? So you get there's a good shelf here. It's right at the golden pocket. It's right at this action where it was previous support resistance flips and all that. So coming back here is great. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see. I need to see this level hold. Does it mean it gets all the way down there? Nope. Does it mean that it might not, maybe it undercuts a little bit and goes to 29.50, 28? It could. So, but there's plenty of room here to get the bounce. And that's what I'm looking for. And the same deal is going to be true with URNM and URNJ. Let me change these fibs. Jeez. That's how long it's been since I run fibs on this thing. I'm just going to delete it and run a new set. Let's just see what it looks like off of this pivot. We'll just use it right here. It's good enough. So there's your fibs, and it's the same deal, right? URA looks the same. Although URNM, there's a little bit of a difference here as far as volume profile is concerned because, there was some buying here, and it's probably going to correspond with all of those options, those 55 calls that were May 17th. That volume profile probably corresponds with that when they were picked up. And I did post up on it. I did follow that trade, and I did very well on that trade. So I did alert it when it happened. So, and I think it was a drawdown day too. It may very well have been, might have been one of these days. So that's the deal. But the same thing, though, it does create a little bit of a vacuum here. And if this volume profile has been a result of the market makers hedging up their calls, I would think that the majority of people have exited those calls already. So market makers, this could be a slightly artificial. That's all I'm saying. Not necessarily the case, but it could be. So I would be watching this level closely. Um, on volume, it's not until you get down here. Let's just get a little bit closer and see how that volume played out. So yeah, we got some space here. All right, better. This is much closer, more up to the minute data. So we'll see. URNM has got the same deal with URA. It's got to hold these golden pockets. It's got to create a pivot. The daily higher low is 49.57. That's what the chart is working against to stay good. And URNJ is going to be the same deal with some sort of daily level, which is going to be here. URNJ is going to be working against 25 even, because again, all one move, no pivots here. Now we're looking for a pivot. URNJ is the first to reach its 12 EMA on the daily. Got a little reaction off of that. Pretty cool. I've got my alert set down here now at 2640. See what happens there. Otherwise, if this is the pivot, it's going to be in good shape. But we're still working off of this 25 level on the ETF. So I don't know if anybody would actually possibly think that this was a painful day. It really wasn't. It's not abnormal to get this. So it's completely expected on my end. CCJ, this head and shoulders is dead, right? Completely negated. And I did post up in here that it looks like it's going to be negated. Fantastic. Great action. New high, probably a new high since whenever, a long time. Look at that quarterly chart, by the way. Yeah, so it's, unadjusted dividend. It's just about ready to break its all-time highs. Adjusted for dividends, it's already done it. So that's the deal. This is a quarterly chart, and there's truly one piece of consolidation here, right? So, and these can be measured moves, right? So whatever this is, that's let's just say it's 750 to 29 to 28.50, right? So it's $21. This measured move is close to being done. If that holds true. Nobody knows. It's just guesstimations on the on technical analysis front. But CCJ looks absolutely fine. The pullback is shallow. There's plenty of support up here and very little resistance. So it's also going to be looking for a higher low as compared to, because this is the next true pivot. 45.10. So it's got a lot of room to make that pivot. So I'll be patient with CZJ. It's always a trader of mine. Everybody knows it. That's it. Let's look at next gen and leave it at that. Well, maybe we'll look at UEC too. Yeah, so they bought 250 million pounds of uranium. They announced it, convertible debt, blah, blah, blah. I guess nobody liked it. Barring the fundamentals on my end, technically this is a place to buy, and I bought it. And I won't be sticking around long. But this is a low risk play right here. Because you're not going to lose a lot of money to find out you're wrong. And it depends really for me or anyone's risk tolerance. There's a lot of ways to play this. So maybe you take a partial here, and maybe you take partial here, and then you just know if this area here breaks down. But I'm not willing to sit through that type of drawdown. I'm not going to scale down into a drawdown like this. This is pretty big volume. Whoever wanted to get out, because they had profits up here and through here, they did. So, and at very least, people were probably breaking even because there was a lot of buying in here, and makes sense that there will be some stop losses here, which says that it could get an undercut here as people stop out, and then you want to see what kind of buyers are coming in. That's why my position is small, and I have room to add. But I'm just going to see how the action is, because if the trend changes, the hourly bounce is underway, and it happened in the middle of the day. So technically, this low right here, hourly low, is set, and it did leave a pretty much decent amount of room to make an hourly higher low. Deep oversold conditions. So this is what's known as an oversold bounce being underway. And then these oversold bounces can turn into trend changes. So the first place you're going to identify the trend change is going to be right here on the hourly chart. And all it needs to do at this point is hold this low, that it's got to hold today's low. Otherwise, the trend is still going to be continuing down. And when you get this type of move, you get consolidation. There's a good chance that the consolidation gives the bears enough incentive to sell it down again. So you just have to watch. That's why my position is very small. and it's into a pretty major support level. So, I take those I'll take these low risk shots all the time. It's just what I do. And since I'm nimble, I can kind of I can get out without getting crushed. That's the deal with next gen UEC. You know, inside bars. It did make this break, so this is the daily high or low that you're working off of right now. 647, and I posted that I'm sorry, this is the weekly high or low there. I took an entry on this break last week when it took out that week's high, knowing that this weekly low is set for now, and so far it looks fine. A little bit of too much of a drawdown, but there is a little bit of a pivot here. So if I want to get tight to say I'm wrong, 674, and I'll be good to go. So I've got some levels here to work off of. That could be fine. So that's the way I'm playing UEC. Today's drawdown is really no big deal. We just want to see it wane. There could be continuation tomorrow. Just want to see the volumes lighten up. Over and out.